G'day guys and welcome back to Ados the Great YouTube channel. So guys, as you can see to the left of me, I have Fox Sports bold predictions for the NRL 2023 season. I'm going to be showing you guys the ones I agree with, the ones I disagree with. Now there are some that I disagree with but am a little bit on the fence about. So we'll talk a little bit about them as the video goes on. But yeah, they've put together 23 bold picks. And yeah, I'm going to go through each of them and tell you if I agree or disagree. Obviously, you guys will eventually see a little X or a tick next to them. But I'll just go in a little bit more detail about why I agree or why I disagree. So let's start with here. Number one, the Dolphins to play finals. I absolutely disagree with this. Let me just move that over here so you guys can, well, it's not going to affect you, but it affects me. Number one, Dolphins to play finals. I absolutely disagree with this one. I don't think that will happen. Personally, I think the Dolphins will miss finals completely. I don't even think they'll be in the top sort of 12 teams. I think they'll be around that bottom 5 area, unfortunately. Now, I could be wrong about this. We all could be wrong about this because I guarantee you a lot of people don't have Dolphins playing finals footy. But I guess you just never know. Rugby league is a funny sport. And one thing I will say is while I don't agree with a lot of these picks, hey, let's just, respect their opinions because at the end of the day, we've all got an opinion and I think that everybody's opinion should at least be respected, whether you agree or disagree. All right, next up is one I actually do agree with. Sam Walker to replace Daly Cherry Evans as the Maroons, number 7. The way I see it playing out, the DCE will get picked for game 1. Queensland will lose game 1. Sam Walker will get picked for game 2. Queensland will win game 2. I reckon that's how it's going to play out, and DCE's origin career will unfortunately come to an end in 2023. I agree with that pick 100%. All right, number 3, Latrell Mitchell wins the Dally M medal. I would love this to happen. Obviously, being a Rabbitohs fan, this would be amazing. I would absolutely love this, but I can't agree with it. I just think, for one, look, I love Latrell. Love him. Arguably my favourite player in the NRL at the moment. He's fast becoming my favourite player. I'd say it is hard to pick. It's hard to pick one favourite player, but he'd definitely be up there. And I would love for him to win the Dally M, but we do know he has a history of offences in the NRL, and it is likely he probably will get suspended, which would rule him out of a Dally M medal. However, if he is to keep a clean sheet this season, I'd agree with this. I think he could win it, but I do think there are several players above him at the moment, that being Nathan Cleary, James Tedesco, Nico Hines there again, Ben Hunt. There's several names that are above him on the list, in my opinion. I would love for him to win it. I just don't see it happening, and there's a little bit of dust up there. I'm going to take that off so it doesn't show. All right, next up, number 4, Tim Sheens to guide the Tigers back to the finals. I disagree with this. I agree that the Tigers squad looks, hang on, my mouth's bloody dry. Sorry. A bit of ASMR for you. There we bloody go. All right. Tim Sheens to guide Tigers back to finals. Again, disagree. Tigers arguably have one of the better forward packs in the league, but I think their halves are definitely lacking, as are their back line. So I can't see them going into finals. I think they will miss out once again. I do think they will improve to about that 9th to 12th place, but I can't see them going any higher than that, to be honest. All right, number 5, Jared Croker plays his 300th game. I hope this is to happen. I do think the Raiders will eventually get him to 300. It'd be horrible if they didn't. They do have a lot of young talent coming through though, and it may be hard to find him a spot. But let's just get him to his 300th game, guys. Let's do it for Jared. He's been an amazing player. Injuries have sort of hurt his career a little bit, but still, he's an amazing point scorer. I believe he's up there with the Raiders' top, or he might be the top point scorer. I don't know off the top of my head. I think he might be their top point scorer. Yeah, he is. Wow. So definitely, easily the highest point scorer. So I think he definitely deserves that 300th game, and I do think that will come this year. On the topic of point scorers, their pick is Nicho Hynes, top point scorer in 2023. I was a little bit on the fence about this one because there are definitely other players that could take this. But at this point of time, I think this is a pretty good prediction. I think Nicho Hynes will be up there for the top point scorer. All right. This one I highly disagree with. Storm to win minor premiership despite Exodus. I think Storm will be lucky to make the top 4. They may even miss out on the top 8. Look, I understand they've got a very good spine, arguably the best in the league, but I can't see them. I can't see them winning a minor premiership. I can't, unfortunately. So I definitely disagree with this one. Parramatta to miss the top 8. I somewhat agree with this, but mostly disagree. The reason being, Parramatta still have an unbelievably good squad. Their forward pack is amazing, and their halves are outstanding as well. I think, that they made it to the grand final last year. I don't think they'll miss the top 8. I think it's definitely a possibility, but I can't see it happening. So I'm disagreeing with that one. New South Wales to win Origin in the first 2 games. I disagree with this as well. I think the first game will go to the Blues, second will go to Queensland, but I do think the Blues will win the series in game 3. All right, Kalen Ponga makes permanent switch to the halves. I agree with this one. I think Bailey Hodgson is coming through the system and looks really good. I think he'll be their fullback for 2023. Now, this may not work out in the first year. It may take some time. And I actually think that the Knights may win the wooden spoon this year, unfortunately. But Kalen Ponga, I think, will definitely make a switch to the halves. Number 11, David Fifita leaves the Gold Coast. This one was a little bit tricky for me as well. I wasn't sure if I agreed with this one or not, but I'm going to side with agreeing to this. Depending on how the Titans season go, if the Titans have a really good season, he might look at staying. But with the money he's on, he hasn't really done what he's worth. So I do think that they will both part ways. I think it'll be a mutual thing, and David Fifita will leave the club. Next up, Paul Gallen to finally fight Sonny Bill Williams. I think this will happen. I think, while I like Sonny Bill, I would want him to win the fight. I think Paul Gallen is going to absolutely dominate him if this were to happen. All right, let's go over to page 2. With number 13, we've got Anthony Seibold to struggle. I agree. I think Manly are going to have a horrible year, and I think Seibold will struggle terribly in this season. Jeremiah Nanai to sign a record deal. I agree. I think he will sign a record deal with the Cowboys, but I also think that other teams could potentially snag him if the Cowboys aren't prepared to match other offers. But I do think he will sign a record deal, whether that be with the Cowboys or another team. I don't know. I'm leaning more towards the Cowboys, but this is a prediction that I agree with. Number 15, I think personally, I think these top 3 are not really predictions, or they're not really bold predictions. They're likely to happen. So I don't really understand why they're on the list, but hey, it is what it is. Brendan Smith to fire at the Roosters. I think this is inevitable. I think Brendan Smith's going to be an absolute weapon at the Roosters, leading them to a top 4 spot. All right, next up, we've got the Broncos win first finals game since 2017. I actually don't have the Broncos making the top 8. I do think they'll be up there in the conversation with teams like the Bulldogs, potentially the Tigers, but I do doubt they will make the 8. I think the Bulldogs will be the team to slot in, and probably the Raiders to be the team to slot out. I've seen a lot of people say the Titans as well, but I don't know. I just can't see it. All right, Panthers to miss the top 4. Absolutely disagree with this one. The Panthers are a team that's got huge talents in their reserve grade system. They've got that next man up mentality, and regardless of what level they're playing at, they'll step up to the next grade and they will deliver. I think this Panthers team is still set to be a massive piece in this year's premiership sort of window. And I think the Panthers will definitely be up there. I think between them and the Roosters, it's the battle for the minor premiership, to be honest. All right, number 18, the Dragons to get the spoon. Now, I don't fully disagree with this because the Dragons, for me, I think will finish around that 15th, 16th, 17th mark. But I have the Knights getting the spoon. So the Dragons miss out for me. The Knights get the spoon. So that's why I've disagreed with this one. But it's a definite possibility, though. All right, number 19, Apasai Coruscant to be the buy of the year. Now, this is another one that I mostly disagree with, but to a degree, I also agree with. I do think Apasai Coruscant has what it takes to be the buy of the year, but I just think there's too many other moves that have happened. Kieran Foran to the Titans, if he leads them to the finals, he could be the buy of the year. You know, same with Apasai Coruscant. If he leads the Tigers to the finals, he definitely could be the buy of the year. But then you've also got to look at, maybe Isaiah Papali'i has a great year as well. John Bateman, there's so many pieces to that West Tigers puzzle. We could be talking about Jermaine Hopgood being the buy of the year. The Eels might win the premiership. Who knows? There's too many questions for me to agree with this, but I can see it happening, basically. So I have disagreed with it, but I could see it happening. All right, Justin Holbrook to be the first coach sacked. I disagree with this one. While I don't think the Titans will be good, and I think that they probably will part ways with him, I honestly think we will see the Knights coach sacked first. I think it's still Adam O'Brien. I should have done my research before we got into this. The Knights, I feel like they sacked their coach way too much, but they might not. So we'll have a look. The Knights coach is Adam O'Brien. All right, so Adam O'Brien, I believe, will be sacked first. That's why I don't have Justin Holbrook as the first coach sacked. I think he will be one of the first 3 sacked, though. But I think Adam O'Brien's demise will come before his. All right, number 21, KO Weeks to be NRL's breakout player. Again, a bit like Holbrook and Apasai, while I don't fully disagree with this, I think there are plenty of other players that could win it over him. As I said before, Bailey Hodgson could have a big year. You've also got Valence Tafare, who I think will have a standout year for the Dolphins. Isaiah Katoa might also, if he gets a start eventually, could have a massive year. At this point in time, I've got Valence winning the Rookie of the Year, so I disagree with this, but I can see, the thought process behind it, especially with Turbo likely to miss quite a bit of footy this year. If KO moves into fullback, he definitely could surprise a few people, that's for sure. Number 22, Origin rules to change. I don't think it'll happen in 2023. I think it will. I think it will happen eventually. I think the eligibility rules and all that will change, or there'll be a few tweaks to it. But I don't think it'll happen in 2023. I think maybe next year or the year after. Number 23 is Bulldogs to miss the top 8. I've got them making the top 8 this year. I don't really see this as a bold prediction, though, because a lot of people do have them missing the top 8. I'd say 40% of people probably think they'll make the 8 and 60% think they won't. So I think this is more of a regular prediction than a bold prediction. But yeah, I do disagree with this one. I'm one of the ones that think the Bulldogs will make the top 8. I don't think they'll go far in the finals yet, but they're really putting the pieces together to be a very strong club. So I do think the Bulldogs will make the 8, so I disagree with this one. If we have a look at my, the stats behind my or what I agree to what I disagree to, I've agreed with 9 out of 23 of these predictions, which averages out to be about 39%. So obviously I disagree with a lot more than what I agree with, but it's not too far off that 50% mark. So yeah, look, it's not great, but if an NBA player was shooting 39% from 3, that wouldn't be too bad either. So yeah, look, that's pretty much going to wrap it up from me there, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with a lot of these? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear from you guys, but that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.